All right, guys, we're going to be looking at another type of rhetorical question, and that is the omit the underline portion. It sometimes says omit, but they've really shifted it recently to delete the underline portion. So really it's the same thing. If you see the word omit, don't be too shocked, but likely you're going to see delete. Um, and they're really popular now. As of right now, the omit or the delete choice is correct about half the time that it's being used. So if you have to guess, it's a pretty good guess to go ahead and guess delete. But this is how you beat it, right? You read the sentence without the underlined portion. If the sentence is grammatically correct and it makes sense, it's grammatically correct and it's logical, then you go ahead and choose the omit option. Just get rid of it. Okay, so this is a lot like the wordiness question in that the ACT wants you to use the fewest number of words possible. Okay, so let's take a look at some examples. So this example is even astronauts orbiting the Earth will chew sugar-free bubblegum while in orbit. Well, as a reader, I've already noticed that it said earlier orbiting. So do we need to mention while they're in orbit? I mean, orbiting means the same thing. So we should read our options, and can we get rid of it? Let's read it. Even astronauts orbiting the Earth chew sugar-free bubblegum. Does it make sense? Yes. Have we lost any meaning? No. Is it grammatically correct? Yes. And so we can just get rid of it then. We really don't even have to look at those other options because we know it sounds right. We let our ear pass this test. Okay? Take a look at another example. And this is a different one. This is a grammatical question. So they'll use these delete or omit the underlined portion in unique ways. So this one reads, a few corroded pennies, their coppery surfaces pitted and had been tarnished, blended in with the soil. Okay, so let's read it without the underlined portion. A few corroded pennies, their coppery surfaces pitted and tarnished, blended in with the soil. Does that sound grammatically correct? Absolutely. What it's called is grammatical parallelism because the surfaces are both pitted and tarnished. And notice that after or before pitted, we don't have had been. For it to be grammatically correct, both of those words, pitted and tarnished, would have to have the same kind of auxiliary verbs that you see in front of tarnished. But we don't need those. It makes sense without it, doesn't it? A few corroded pennies, their coppery surfaces pitted and tarnished, blended in with the soil. That makes grammatical sense. And because we can take that out, we should, right? All right, notice I switched it to delete there on that one. That's because sometimes they'll say delete the underlined portion. All right, here's another example. Perhaps the most common use of the bubble is likely the baker's in producing leavened bread. So we want to read without it. That's the trick. Perhaps the most common use of the bubble is the baker's in producing leavened bread. Now, here is what I know. It already says the word perhaps, so I probably don't need to have the word likely. They mean the same thing. This is a trick trying to get you to use more words than you need. All right, and so if we can get rid of it, we should. And it sounds just fine without it, so we should go ahead and delete the underlined portion on that one, okay? Because that's what makes the most sense. It's a pretty simple question, guys. Take it out if you can, and if you can't, just find the one that makes the most grammatical sense. And we'll take a look at ways to determine grammatical sense here in other videos.